Welcome to the BCHS Bear Network. I'm your host, Gary Ownbey. Today we're going to talk about a sport that we've not ever talked about before on the Bear Network, and that is girls lacrosse. I'd like to welcome to the show a couple of coaches, a couple of players. We'll start with Philip Rich. I think you're co-coaches, and John Massey, the co-coaches, head coach, whatever, I don't know. But and you guys talking off the air. Lacrosse is not really your background. So, Philip, let's start with you. And what is your background? I know you're new to Bradley Central here.
I've been coaching football and baseball for 14, 15 years.
John, I know your background. You've coached at other schools, other sports.
You know, we've never played it, and we have talked to other coaches and kind of put the word out. And when we had our first meeting back, I guess, mid to late August, we had 50 or so girls that wanted to come. And
wow.
Thought that was a good start, and it's kind of, we fostered everything up to that point, and, you know, here we are about a third of the way through the season, so.
Well, let's introduce these two young ladies with you here today, lacrosse players. Coach, you want to do the introduction for them?
Yes, they're two of our seniors. It's Marissa Graham and Haley Yantz, and they're cheerleaders also. And they came to us. Were y'all at the very first meeting?
Yeah, I wasn't actually. I was.
Yeah. So, and I guess they just kind of brought some more seniors with them, and which is an honor, you know, to start a program. Have seniors actually involved and want to get involved, and because they're basically giving of themselves to start the program, because there's not a next year for them.
Right.
And they've been all in and really been helpful and learned a lot and actually gotten better at playing. So yeah.
Big learning curve for everyone involved, coaches and players there. Well, Haley, what got you interested in lacrosse? It's a team sport. I know your cheerleader was just something you wanted to play and be involved in a team sport. Just like cheerleading is a team sport as well. You enjoy lacrosse? Is it something you've never done before, I suppose?
Yeah, it's nothing I've ever done before, and I actually got talked in by doing it by a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
So I really wasn't going to, that's something I wanted to do, but now I don't regret it at all. I love it a lot. It's super competitive, and it takes a lot of work to, be where we are right now. So.
Okay, how about you, Marissa?
I mean, like Haley said, we both come from a cheer background, so it's not really a competitive aspect for us like a school cheer. I know Haley comes from a competitive cheer background.
Do you like that competition they'll get out there on the field
I
now
think
and playing
that's
lacrosse?
why we both like it so much, because it brings out that competitiveness, and it's such a physical sport. And so it's something new, but like she said, we both love it now.
You can whack them upside the head with one of those sticks.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I was talking with Philip yesterday. Now, boys lacrosse, we don't have that here. Maybe down the road we might, but it's an expensive sport. I found out yesterday talking to you to start with. But girls lacrosse, now you've played some matches already
Yes.
under your belt, and we've not had a home match yet. We've got one. We were scheduled. It got canceled. I think the other team had COVID maybe or something.
Right. Absolutely. So we're about a third of the way through our schedule, and you know, like everybody else has had to up to this point, dealing with COVID, and it's that time of year, so it's going to rain a lot. So we're back half of our schedule's getting real filled up real quick. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. Trying to play a game today actually against Ottawa, so maybe if it dries out enough, we can play. So we're pretty excited about that. So. Does
the rain, is it one of those sports that the rain would impact? And I know lacrosse, they play through anything, but I mean, soccer does, but lacrosse, you prefer a dry field, I guess, because there's a lot of running and could get injured, I suppose, too. But and let me just go back and ask you this question, too, now. Since it's not a TSSAA sanctioned sport, what league are you involved with in the state?
It's Tennessee Girls Lacrosse Association. It's TGLA. So they're actually serve the same function as TSSAA. We have Players of the Year. We have all-state team. We have state tournaments for private school and public school divisions.
Basically the same thing as TSSAA.
It fills that same void, that same idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty excited about it.
Well, John, I know your background softball, very successful softball. It's a lot of different sport, I know, but I guess you got the coaching blood in you. You want to keep coaching, and this opens doors for you to get back in that.
Yeah, like I say, as I mentioned earlier, being competitive, and we look when we started talking to some of the girls. Is, well, what's their background? Have they run track, cheerleading? You know, being athletic helps. Mm-hmm. You have to. It's a lot of running. And we did a lot of that in the fall and just learning. And we've seen, and we talk about it basically every day, we've seen the growth from September, October to now so much better. And because they come to practice, when we have practice. We don't practice every day, but 2 or 3 times a week, and they show up and they get better. So just going out and wanting to compete, we want to put our brand versus whoever we play. Tonight's Oudewalt, we get to play, and we go to Roane County Friday, hopefully get to play up there. So and I tell especially a lot of the girls on defense, just go compete. Don't look at the scoreboard. We're not worried about the scoreboard right now. We want to go compete and get better. We can worry about the scoreboard in some other games, on down the road. When we think we can compete against some of the teams, like a couple Fridays ago, we lost 7-6 in a game that we were evenly matched, I thought, and we played well. So we just come up a little bit short.
Well, for the folks who, and we've all seen lacrosse on TV. That's my exposure. I've never seen a live match, but for the folks who don't know, how is it set up on the field with defenders? Is it sort of like soccer where you have defenders, goalie trying to prevent the other team from scoring? I know you're trying to throw the ball, I guess we call it a ball still, don't we, into the little net that's on the mounted thing there. And I've seen it get pretty rough, pretty vicious in some cases now. Are these girls mean and blooded and, like I said, wax them upside the head with one of those sticks? I guess that'd be a penalty if you did that, or a foul or whatever they call it in that league.
Yeah, it is a penalty. It's not as rough as boys. Yeah. Boys lacrosse is like football with a stick. But the girls, they haven't sanctioned helmets yet, so it's optional to wear them. So there's a lot of penalties involved with, they call it a halo, a safe area around your head, staying away from that. So I guess the hardest part, the biggest adjustment for all of the players is just learning not to be scared of the ball. It's one thing when you can trust your hands to do the catching, but when you're having to trust, like you said, a net on a stick, it gets real interesting, I guess is a good word to put it, to the first few days of practice. So, but yeah, you got 12 people on the team. You got a goalie, and you got midfielders, attackers, and defenders. And it runs a lot like soccer. The big difference is a long time ago in basketball, you had the idea like defense couldn't pass a certain point and offensive players couldn't pass a certain point. In girls lacrosse, not guys but girls, they have that same thought process. We have restraining lines, and the defenders can only go up to a certain point, and the attackers can only go to a certain point. So kind of keeps the numbers on one side or the other even for everybody. So.
Well, Marissa, what's the toughest thing about being on the lacrosse team? Trying to run a lot and get in shape, I guess?
Oh, yeah, definitely. That's a big part of it, and we do a lot of conditioning at practice to help with that. But I'd say the hardest part would be just communication for us being a new team, and it takes a lot on the field and at practice. We have to communicate what we're doing on the field, especially with us being a new team. We're playing all these people that have years of experience, so we've got to learn to communicate on and off the field just to play the best that we can.
Well, Haley, I guess I didn't think about that, but it's just like any game, coach saying, talk to your players out there on the field, your teammates, tell them where you're going or what they need to do. I guess there's a lot of communication that's really required to be good at the sport.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of our hardest things to do. Like when your adrenaline's running, you're like, I forget to talk. And a lot of us not knowing a lot about each other, it's kind of hard to like ask for help because like most of the time in sports you're like, I don't want to do it, But it's more like a team. Like you have to be a team to get anything accomplished in this sport.
Well, I know y'all are learning together. And Coach, when's your next match coming up? I've got one tomorrow, maybe.
Today. We were hoping to play today. And then Friday we're hoping to maybe play Friday, depending on the weather.
And when will your season wrap up for this league that you guys are participating in? We have a postseason. Will you be playing in a postseason tournament somewhere, or have you progressed to that point yet?
I guess it depends on what. So you have divisions.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you rank in your division, and then you'll go to postseason tournament. I think the postseason tournament this year is going to be near the Gatlinburg area. And you might play 3 or 4 games in a couple of days. So that starts 1st of May, 2nd of May. So we have till the end of April to finish our season. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, if you ever get to play a home match, if we don't get rained out, Where will we be playing it? Out on the soccer field out front, or?
That's the plan right now, yes. We're currently working on the infield of the track, fertilizing it. We're going to try to hopefully raise enough funds where we can get some sand put on it and kind of even it out. And then maybe going into next year, that could be more of a home field for us.
Are the dimensions on a lacrosse field the same as soccer, or what are the dimensions? Is it similar to that, or? Because I don't know myself.
Yeah, they're 70 to 80 yards wide,
Okay.
100 to 120 yards long. So it is very similar to that. Yeah, so it's pretty easy to play on a football or soccer field.
Yeah.
So, absolutely.
Well, we want to wish you luck the rest of the year. I know it's a startup program for you, and you're going to have some aches and pains to growing pains they call it, I guess. But that's part of the learning process. And here at Bradley, we've been really successful in a lot of sports, and obviously this is an up and coming sport. And you girls won't be here next year, but congratulations, for helping get the program off the ground. That's a huge honor itself, right there. You may look back one day and say, "Yeah, I was on the very first lacrosse team ever at Bradley Central." And we're the ones that made it what it was, But want to wish you the best of luck. Stay injury-free. Stay away from COVID and all that mess, if you can. And thank you for joining us here today, Coach Massey, Coach Rich, Emma Graham, and Haley Yantz there. I remembered everybody's name today. That's been our program on lacrosse for the very first time, and it won't be our last. We'll talk again. But this has been Gary Ownbey. I'm your host here on the BCHS Bear Network. All of our presentations are available on Facebook through the BCHS Bear Network and also on YouTube. So check those out and give us some response. I'd like to thank Mr. Gwen Schroyer and his students for making these productions possible here in the studio on the campus of Bradley Central High School. Until next time, we'll say God bless and go Bearettes.